Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
You know. Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. And then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like I ain't.
Yeah. Peace and blessings, family. Welcome back to the Campaign TV show, a place where we have real conversations with real people. I am your host, Brother King Cam, and tonight we're going to be discussing a plethora of different subjects. We got a lot to get into tonight, a lot to unpack, family. So I want you to rock with your brother. First and foremost, what I want you to do is if you're joining us on YouTube, I need you to make sure that you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I need you to smash that subscribe button, actually, and hit that bell so you can stay notified each and every time that we drop a video. All right? And I need you to let me know in the comment section how we looking. How's everything looking, family? Are we good to go? Are we slow? It look like we got a lag. Do we have a lag? Let me know if we got a lag, family. Let me know if I got a lag. In the comment section, let me know if I have a lag. Man, this is crazy. Okay, I think I'm good. So we got a lot to get into, fam. We got a lot to get into. I was gonna start one place, but I'm gonna start another place. Because like I said, there's so much that we need to talk about. It's been so much going on in the community. It's really a hard place. It's really, difficult to find a place to start, honestly. Now, if you've seen the title of the show for tonight, we're going to be talking about TakeOff, one of the members of the Migos who was tragically murdered in Houston. We're going to talk about that. And actually, I'm going to start with that. Then we're going to get into Shaq and Charles Barkley and the comments about Kyrie Irving. Brother Kyrie actually just been suspended for not apologizing, family. Brother Kyrie has just been suspended for the next 5 games for his inability to apologize. So that's going to be heavy. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So let me go ahead and pull up the article that I saw with TakeOff. All right, because this is going to be important. All right, family. So let me see. Open this up right here. Okay. So as y'all can see, this is the TMZ report. TakeOff dead at 28, shot in Houston. Most people know TakeOff for being 1/3 of the hip hop group Migos, with Quavo and Offset. Put out a video earlier, a little bit about hip hop in the community and the culture as a whole. Not dealing specifically with TakeOff situation, because TakeOff or Migos for that, are not individuals who really talk about street life. They talk about trap. They talk about, selling drugs and stuff, but they more so talk about getting money, being with girls, things like that, but not really shooting and robbing and killing. All right. So we're not going to play this, but it says in the video, you can hear Quavo on the phone, presumably with a 911 operator. He's asking, What does she need to do? A woman on the scene has said she was a nurse and was offering to help TakeOff. So we're not gonna watch that now. This is the crazy part. And pardon my slow computer, bro. So it says that in emergency audio obtained by TMZ, you hear dispatchers discussing the incident, saying 5 shots were fired and revealing the initial caller said they heard gunshots and people screaming. I don't know what happened to this computer, bro, but it just don't work like it used to. TakeOff, 1/3 of Migos, is dead after an early morning shooting in Houston, TMZ Hip Hop has confirmed. Law enforcement sources and multiple witnesses tell us the fatal incident went down shortly after 2:30 a.m. That's when cops got the call for a man shot at a bowling alley called 810 Billiards and Bowling, Houston. We're told TakeOff and Quavo were there playing dice when an altercation broke out. And that's when someone opened fire, shooting TakeOff either in the head or near his head. He was pronounced dead at the scene. TMZ Hip Hop has obtained footage from the scene, and you can see Quavo in an orange shirt and others gathering around TakeOff. At first, they tried to move him, but then put him back down, and Quavo yelled for someone to get help. Police tell us 2 other people were shot and were taken to the hospital in private vehicles. We do not know their conditions. Quavo was not injured. So there's a lot of different videos on here. We're not going to get into all of the videos. This has been a huge problem that a lot of people have with these blog sites. Because number one, videos like this, images like this should not be on the internet. With all of the community rules, with all of the hate speech and violence that they say that they don't stand for, yet and still they allow these images to be up on these blog sites and nobody says anything. Nobody says anything. When it comes to young black rappers who lose their life, it's easy to put them back, put them out on these blog sites with their bodies just laying out and for all the world to see. And that's a problem. And Gilly said, with a lot of passion, I might add, that you got a lot of people that as soon as something go down, the first thing that they want to do is grab their cell phone and record. Not grab the cell phone and call 911. Not grab the cell phone and try to use it in a way that you can aid this situation. Now, in some situations, you do want to record. So obviously, when you are having altercations with the police and stuff like that, you want to record. But a deceased body or a person who has been injured, that's not the time to be recording. You should be trying to use that phone to get help as much as possible and as quickly as possible. So our brother TakeOff, man. May Allah be pleased with that brother. You know, was out having a good time, and everybody keeps saying the same thing about TakeOff. He was the most laid back, chillingest person that you'll ever meet. He was not the intended target. He was not the instigator of this. You understand me? He did not aggress upon anybody and instigate this. He was just an innocent bystander who was hit. And now we lost another rapper. We lost another rapper to gun violence. And it's really, something that we need to look at within our own community, because I was on a Twitter space. A couple of days ago when the story first broke. And, a lot of people was talking about, well, is this black on black crime and all this kind of stuff. I don't use that type of language because I don't agree with that type of language as it pertains to us committing violence against ourselves. We know that, we live in, it's called proximity killing. So obviously if you live around whoever you live around, that's who you're going to kill. So if you're in a majority black neighborhood, then there's going to be a lot of black people who kill black people. If you live in a Asian neighborhood, there's going to be a lot of Asian people who kill Asian people. You know, it's not a Asian on Asian crime. It's not white on white crime. When white people kill each other, they just call it crime. They just call it a murder. They just call it, you know, a tragedy, whatever the case may be. But they don't call it black on black crime. It's only when it's us that we have to create a specific title for it. And there's no such thing. It's called close proximity. That's all it is. But here's the thing. Because you got a lot of information out there where people say, well, most of black society are not killing each other. It's a very small group, very small percentage of us who die, and they're just highlighting, right? They're just highlighting those particular situations. But here's the thing. We've been under a ruler. We've been under a particular individual or people who have done nothing to make sure that our condition changes from the subservient level that it was to a equal in society. See, there's a combination of situations and problems that have created what you see as black neighborhoods today, as what you may see as a black man today, and what you may see as a black woman today. That's not what God intended you to be. What you see walking around here, walking, talking, breathing today is not what God intended for you to be. That is a creation. That is an experiment of Frankenstein by white America called the Negro. And Dr. Wesley details this in his book, The Black Manhood, the assault on the black manhood, and black masculinity. He highlights that in that book where he gets into the physical. Obviously, you talk about the effects of chattel slavery, but then he gets into the chemical, and he gets into the psychological warfare that has been done deliberately on black people. So what you see walking around here is not what God intended for you and I to be. So because of certain circumstances, because of certain things that have happened to us, when it comes to our food, our water, where we live at, the zip codes, all of this stuff is precise. See, the enemy is very, very strategic on how he implements his different strategies against us. We at war, family. We at war. And we don't really know it. And this is why we don't move and operate in the way of one who's being attacked. You understand me? Peace, Brother Ray. So we don't operate as a people that's being attacked. This is why we can never get over the hump when it comes to all of the attacks that are against us. We are constantly under assault. And this is why Dr. Wesley probably named the book The Assault on the Black Man. And this is why I named the show Is the Black Man Under Assault? Because whether it is TakeOff, whether it is Kyrie Irving, whether it is any other black man, Kanye West, yay, any other black man in the community, there's an assault against the black man. There's a huge target on his back. So when it comes to our brother, TakeOff, man. Family. What we have to do is we have to take a long, hard look at ourselves in the mirror and say to ourselves, what are we going to do moving forward as a people? What are we going to do moving forward to change our current condition? Because we can't continue in this way. We can't continue in a way where if you have gained a little success, a little money, and you decide to treat yourself to a night of entertainment or, some entertainment or something like that, that it will end in you losing your life, whether it be intentionally, accidentally, whatever the case may be. We have to start setting up things to ensure our safety as much as possible. It's just as much as possible. Now, obviously, all of it is in God's hands. So whatever his will be done, it's going to be done, regardless of any precautions that you take. But still, that doesn't mean we need to be reckless. So what I'm saying to us, family, is we should probably think about, I'm just suggesting that we should probably think about, especially those of us who have become successful, those of us who have platforms and, you have gained a certain level of financial stability, whatever the case may be, we have to start rethinking our lifestyles. We have to start rethinking our lifestyles. And not just celebrities or people who are successful, but that's just all of us. We have to start rethinking our lifestyles, because right now, the culture in which hip hop has created is not a lifestyle. It's a death style. Whether it went from selling drugs to being on drugs to now being a murderer and openly admitting it on hip hop music. Openly talking about taking the life of somebody who looked like you, taking the ops, right? Drill music is about getting the ops and really putting it on wax. This is a death style that we are putting out into the atmosphere. And as Dr. Wesley mentioned, that it's going to inevitably come back to the community, whether it come back on you or it come back on somebody else. It's coming back. Once you put it out into the universe, it's coming back. It's going to manifest itself in some sort of way. It's going to manifest itself in some sort of way. So we don't know all of the details. We don't know, a lot. It's still early. You understand me? They said that they was in Houston. They was at a Jay Prince event. They was guests of Jay Prince and his son. They was there supposedly gambling, at a dice game, whatever the case may be. Then they leave and they was on their way out or whatever. They get into an altercation. Then the video comes out and says that, you're able to hear Quavo, and they're not talking about dice in the video. They're talking about basketball game and, all this other stuff. And that's what led to the altercation. So it's still a lot of stuff that we don't know. Point being is, we as young black men, old black men, whatever the case may be, but specifically young black men, we have to start moving different. We have to start moving different. You understand me? If you are an athlete or entertainer, somebody that that's highly recognized, you got a platform, you got to get security. Got to get some type of security. You can't just be rolling places solo dolo. That's number one. Specifically the FOI. You need the FOI. Right now, we're not even going to sugarcoat it. We're going to just speak straight truth right now. The FOI is the best security, hands down. If you don't have the fruit of Islam on your security detail, then you slipping. Because, it's cool to have all them big buff dudes hanging around you with all the vests on and the pistols and all that kind of stuff. That's cool. But they don't have the training of the FOI. You understand me? We have dignitaries. We have nationals. We have security detail on the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And have, by the grace of Allah, haven't had any incidents. Now, to most, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and this is to, the people out here who don't know, but they would say that the minister's comparable to the president, right, of white America. He's comparable in black America to the president of white America. The FOI secure the minister. The Secret Service secure the president. The FOI haven't had any incidents as it pertains to the minister. By the grace of Allah, Secret Service, not so much. Got a couple of situations with the Secret Service. Well, president didn't fare so well. So we are better than the Secret Service. So you need to get FOI as security. That's number one. Number two, we have to start thinking again about where are we going to be spending our time? We got to start thinking about where we're going to be spending our time as it pertains to if it's about getting money, if it's about hanging out in entertainment, because as we can see, it's just not safe to go out and do the things that you used to do anymore. Going out to bowling alleys, not safe. You understand me? Going out to eat in certain places, it's not safe. You know, as people out here, we live in a world, unfortunately, where there are envious people. Boosie talked about this, other rappers have talked about this, but you just have people who are just envious of the success that you've been able to gain. They had the same 24 hours you did, but they didn't capitalize on it. But instead of looking at themselves and taking responsibility for their current condition in life, they're going to blame it on you. So the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said an envious person is the most dangerous person because they will kill you. So you have envious people who lurk in the shadows and pretend to be this person and that person just to get an opportunity. Just to get an opportunity to exact their retribution on you, what they don't have the ability to take out on God. See, that's really what that's about. They really got a beef with God because God blessed you and you used your gift, your talent, your ability to make the best out of what you had. And because you've been able to do that, now they, instead of being able to reach up to God and talk to him about their problem, they're going to come up to you. They're going to take it out on you because you got a number one song in the city. You got a number one song in the nation. They're going to take it out on you because you're the top athlete in the nation. They're going to take it out on you because you built your social media platform. So they're going to take it out on you because people in their household tapping into you. You understand me? They're going to take it out on you because people are asking them what are they doing and then bringing your name up in the same sentence. See, all of this stuff is causing envy to be festered up in the soul of a person. And as that envy festers up, it's ultimately going to come to a boiling point. So understanding that we have this in our elements, we have to always be ready for that. So we can't be out here going to restaurants, just kicking back like everything cool. Not saying you can't go to restaurants, but you always got to be on your P's and Q's. One thing that we talk about and say in the nation, part of our training, is we have general orders. All general orders are in effect. All general orders are in effect. See? About to help y'all out a little bit. See, I keep these on me just so I can be reminded of my general orders. Now, it's hard for you to see it, but this is a card that has all my general orders in it, family. What does the first general order say? To take charge of this post and all temporal property in view. What does that mean? That means whenever you go a place, no matter where it's at, bowling alley, Waffle House, concert, anywhere that you go, hotel lobbies, you now have to take control of that post. Take charge of that post, family. Which means you and your team need to come in and you need to make sure that now you are in control of all of the situations, all of the things that are going on that directly pertain to you, you in control of it. So you need to take charge of your post and all temporal property in view. All property in view. Wherever the principal is going to be moving to, you got to take charge of that, family. That means you got to go in security ahead of the principal and you need to secure the venue. You need to search the venue. Where we going to be going? What exits? How many exits are there? Right? Where are we going to be situated inside of this room? Where are we going to be situated inside of this restaurant? Who's making the food? What's the menu? These are the type of questions that security should be asking. Right? These are the type of questions that security should be asking. So you have to take charge of your post and all temporal property in view. Then what's the second general order? Your second general order is to walk your post in a perfect manner, keeping always on the alert. So what does that mean, security? That means once you have taken charge of that post, you must now man that post. You must walk that post in a perfect manner, keeping always on the what? Alert. That means you can't be on the phone. That means you can't be making Instagram videos. That means you can't be on your story. You can't be texting this person. You have to be always on the alert. This is just some security tips I'm giving y'all. This is some of the training from the FOI. Very important that you have. What is your third general order? To report all violations of orders I'm instructed to enforce. That means there has to be an open line of communication. So if you have multiple people on the security team, which at the minimum, it should be at least 2 people, those people have to be in constant communication. Why? Because they have to be able to report all violations or orders they're instructed to enforce. That means if somebody come on their post and start making a nuisance on their post, then you need to report that after the nuisance have been taken care of. These are all different things that we need to have as far as security, family. I'm just talking about how we're going to be able to make it through into the next phase of the situation. All right. What's going on, Sister Terry? See? Number 4 is to report all calls from posts more distance from the temple than my own. Again, that's communication. Communication is key when it comes to security. Okay. Number 5, to quit my post only when properly relieved. That means you don't take no breaks until you properly relieved. That means you're not going to the bathroom. You're not running out to the car. You're not doing any of these different type of things. You need to make sure that you are on your post until you've been properly relieved, which means the principal is safe. That's when you properly relieved. I want you to understand what I'm saying right now. All right, family. Let's get the likes up. Let's make sure that you hitting that thumbs up button. Let's get the thumbs up in here, family. I appreciate you tuning in. Man, we talking about our brother TakeOff, who was murdered in Houston. And I'm just giving some solutions right now on how we need to move, especially those of us who have platforms, those of us who gotten some type of success, and just offer the strength that you got a family and children and significant others and mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters that you got to get home to. This is how you need to be moving. Even if you don't have a security team, you need to be moving just like this. You need to be taking charge of your post. You need to be walking it in the perfect manner. That's just top 2, right? One thing we say in the nation, all general orders in full effect, which means all 12 of these bad boys is in full effect. What's number 12? And check out number 12. Number 12 is be especially watchful at night. That's what it say. To be especially watchful at night during the times of meetings. So that means if you out at night and you go into an event or you go into a particular situation at night, you have to be especially watchful. So you have to be watchful during the day, but at nighttime you have to be especially watchful. That means you have to be super on point at night. You have to be super on point at night because the only thing that's outside past 12 o'clock is foolishness. So we have to now begin to start to train our minds, family, that being outside 12, 1, 2 in the morning is just not advantageous for us to survive. That's not proper lifestyle. That's a death style. That's a recipe for disaster anytime you outside past 12 o'clock. So if it's not about a bag, if we're not going to handle business, we go in, we do what we asked to do. And this is why the security is so important. Because when you go in, you get your instructions, you understand what we have to do. You go in, advanced team, you figure out what's going on, where you're going to be going, where you're going to be sitting. You bring the principal through. You handle your business. You come on back out, and then you get on back to where you're going safely. The problem is we like hanging out too much. We want to talk to everybody. We want to just be chilling and standing around. We can't be doing none of that, family. It's just a different time. It's just a different time. It's just a different time. So we can't be doing all of that. You know, I'm just thinking about different things that we can do to avoid situations like this, because you can shoot dice if that's what you want to do in your house, especially if you getting millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a nice house, you can shoot dice in your own house. You don't have to be out at a party shooting dice. You know, you can have music and drinks, and you know, you can have all that stuff at your house. You don't have to have, you know, for you to be out somewhere in some club with a whole bunch of drunk people, a bunch of people who got weapons, who don't have weapons. You in Texas, everybody got weapons. You don't need to be outside in that type of atmosphere, because that's a recipe for disaster, family. It's a recipe for disaster. So we as black men and black women have to start thinking about the moves that we making and be a lot more calculated in how we handle ourselves. Because the goal is to get back home at night. And I know, some of y'all gonna say, brother, all that's well and fine, but I should be able to go and I should be able to go out to the club if that's what I want to do, or I should be able to go do this and have a good time and don't have to worry about dying, X, Y, and Z. Well, that's true. You should be able to do those type of things, but obviously, that's just not the case. That's just not the case. So instead of sitting around talking about what's going on, RVA, Richmond in the building. So instead of sitting around talking about what you shoulda, coulda, would be doing, you need to jump into the reality of the fact that that's just not real. So what you need to do is start removing yourself from environments that are not good for you and that can ultimately be a recipe for disaster if you stay in them situations too long. That's the problem. You don't have no reason hanging around the projects. You be having your homeboys, your family and all them be staying around the projects and all that. But you done completely changed your life. You done moved up out of there. But then you go back and you still out there 12, 1 o'clock in the morning on the weekend because you don't got to work. So you hanging in the projects at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. There's nothing going on. If you over there, you just need to be in the house. Be inside. Watching a movie with the family. That's what you should be doing. Hanging outside on the corner, shooting dice, gambling, talking shit outside on the corner. That's not what we supposed to be doing, family. And then when a drive-by happen and somebody get killed, we like, oh well, you know, he wasn't around and he wasn't in the hood like that. But we gotta be smarter about the decisions we make. Because yeah, he wasn't in the hood like that, but he was in the hood that day. He was hanging around that day. And that's the point. We're not even gonna be doing that. We're gonna breeze through. You wanna go holler at your people? We're gonna slide through, you know what I'm saying? Dap everybody up and we're gonna keep it moving. Might chop it up for 2-3 minutes, then we're gonna keep it moving over. We understand the environment that we in. It ain't the person, it ain't the people, so don't take it personal. It's not because your homeboy, your family might, you know, be up to something or anything like that. No, we understand the environment. See, we taking charge of our post that we in right there in that time. We taking charge of that post, and I understand the environment that we in. So what we're going to do is we're going to have control over the situation. We're going to have control over the amount of time we're going to have this conversation. We're going to have control over the fact that we're going to remove ourselves from the situation as quickly as possible after we handle what we're supposed to handle. That's just what we're doing. See, we taking charge of that post and all temporal property in view. We getting on up out of there after that. Because it's a recipe for disaster, that I've been saying this whole time. These type of situations. So we have to start thinking about that. We have to change the lifestyle. I know. As an artist, as a hip hop artist, part of going to the club is what we do. But at this point in time, fam, with social media, with your ability to be able to book your own shows, right? If you have a big enough buzz on social media, I would be booking shows everywhere except clubs. So we'd be doing amphitheaters. We'd be doing everything. We'll be finding every venue that is a decent sized venue outside of clubs. Clubs are too small and they're security risk. So we're not doing no clubs. If I was an artist, if I'm already on, I'd be telling my management, we not doing no clubs. I'm not doing no clubs. Not even for no walkthroughs. Because it's a security risk. It's dark. It's too much alcohol and drugs involved. And it's a security risk as we go through the club if I'm doing a walkthrough or if I'm even performing. It's just not safe. It's not safe. So instead of even taking them chances, bro, just book us for another venue. You move the venue, we'll do the party. But we're not doing this in no club. Right? So again, this is being conscious of your surroundings. See, this ain't no time to be playing no games. We don't have time to be playing no games, family. We really don't. You have to be conscious of where you're going, what you're doing, how you doing it, how you going about getting it done. This is real talk. This is real talk, family. So, if you just joining us, I'm your host, Brother King Cam. This is the Campaign TV show. And we're talking about, you know, our brother TakeOff, man. May Allah be pleased with our brother who died in Houston a few days ago, who was shot and killed tragically and on accident. So we just discussing some solutions to how we can try to prevent some of the things that happen. Now, we're not going to be able to prevent everything because at the end of the day, all of this is in God's hands. But what we're not going to do is live reckless lives anymore. And that's the point that I'm trying to get across to you, is that we cannot continue to live recklessly. You only have one life. So I know Drake said YOLO, but that's just for entertainment. You're only living once. Yes, that's true. And that's why we're going to treat this life as precious as it is. That's why we're going to take this life and we're going to treat it precious as it is. We're going to be very careful with it. And we're going to cherish it. And we're going to cherish others who have one as well. Because you only get one shot at this. You only get one shot at this. So it's a sad situation for our brother and for the family, for the Migos family, for the QC family, you know. So they would definitely be in our prayers. Now, what I want to get to is shout out to those who's popping up in the room, man. Appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. Hit the comment section. Let me know what city and state that you in. Brother Amar, Terry, Brother Robinson, Brother Ray. Shout out to the family. Let me know what city and state you tuned in from. I know Amar said RVA. So, Terry, let me know what city and state. Brother Ray, let me know what city and state. Appreciate y'all for sliding through. Make sure that y'all smash that like button right now. Smash the like button. All right, so now let's get over to our brother Kyrie. Now, most of us have been tapped in because we know what was going on with Ye. Right? We know what's been going on with Ye in the last couple of weeks. You know, as they have been working to try to, what's the word I want to use? I don't want to say cancel our brother, but cancel our brother because of his quote unquote anti-Semitic comments and the things that he said. The problem is, though, and what we've been exposing, is that the comments that Ye said was not anti-Semitic and actually have scholarly supportive evidence that backed them up. That's the problem that they're having with our brother Ye. And this is the problem that they've been had, because this is not a fight that has been something that's new. This is a fight that has been going on for quite some time. And the most notorious, if you will, I don't want to say notorious, but the most recognizable of those who have been labeled an anti-Semite is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And the minister has taught us that we are the original people of the planet Earth. I'm going to say it again. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us that we are the direct descendants of Allah, God himself, and we are the original people and the aboriginal people of the planet Earth. So what does that mean? That means we speak the language of Hebrew. That means we speak the language of Aramaic. That means we spoke the language of Arabic. And if you look up the definition of Semitic, these are people who derive from those whom speak that language. I hope I'm making myself clear. The Semitic people are people who come from those who speak those languages. So how could we be anti-self? Talk to me. How could we be anti-self? How could we be anti-self? You got to let me know now. It's because we can't be anti-self. And then when you look up the definition of actually anti-Semitic, it doesn't say anything about Hebrew language, Aramaic language, or Arabic language, or people who speak those languages. It say anything that is derogatory or accusatory of Jews. That's the definition of anti-Semitic. Now you see the faultiness in just the definitions. Do you see the difference in the faultiness in those definitions? So look at this. So now our brother Kyrie Irving, enter him into the conversation. Actually, before we get to Kyrie, let's do this. I want to read this about Kanye. All right? This is heavy. This is from the Final Call newspaper, last week's edition with Kanye. It says, yay, in the false charge of anti-Semitism. This is an article written by Dimitri Muhammad of the Research in a Wide Research Group. He says, German philosopher, author Schopenhauer once stated, all truth passes through 3 stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. This reminds me of a very important YouTube clip of Jewish journalist David Sheen from a lecture he delivered in 2019. Nearly 30 years after the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan published Volume 1 of The Secret Relationships Between Blacks and Jews. Sheen had this powerful admission that sheds light on Schopenhauer's 3 stages of truth. Sheen states, I wanted to find out what really went down. The Nation of Islam produced a book a bunch of decades ago called The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. And it documented the history of Jewish involvement in the slave trade. Then goes on to say, Jewish involvement in slavery was massive. So I decided to not just read what people I agree with say, but also people I don't necessarily agree with. See, this is a person who's reading from a place of balance. They're reading from a place where they're trying to be objective and not subjective. All right. Okay. So look. Said he wants to read from people that he doesn't necessarily agree with. I think that what they have to say can't be dismissed outright if they did scholarship. So I wanted to judge it on its own merits. So I read that book that they wrote. It was called Antisemitic. I felt that they also documented facts that are unassailable, and they sourced it impeccably, realizing that just because of their hard right politics that they would be attacked and that credibility would be called into question. So they footnoted it, to the degree. That's it, talking about how much footnotes. Wait, where my book at? How much footnotes is in this book and in the other books. This is the second one of The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, How Jews Gain Control of the Black American Economy. This is book 2. He's referencing, talking about book 1. But this is book 2. Extremely footnoted to the nth degree as well. Because we knew people would question the information, so we had to make sure that the footnotes would be there so people can go back and check it out for themselves, for you scholars that's watching your brother right now. Okay? So it says, so they footnoted it, to the nth degree and left tracks so that they could be followed up on and verified. And sadly, those are truths that we have to face, We have a messy history. We have to look at it honestly, accept it, and acknowledge it if we were to make amends. This is David Sheen chronicling culpability. David Sheen, this is a Jewish man who actually states the fact that this book is so scholarly done and that the footnotes are so impeccable and that you could track and verify everything that was said in this book and the other 2 books, that you have to deal with what's in here. And he said, if you really want to have a truthful and honest conversation, you have to be able to accept it and acknowledge it so that you can make amends. Shout out to David Sheen. Well, what does that have to do with Kanye? Kanye, who not only who not long ago changed his name to Ye, is not a scholar, journalist, or academia. Ye is a leader within the world of popular culture. His recent statements on the relationship between blacks and Jews has drawn an extreme amount of criticism and opposition. As Jewish journalist David Sheen was surprised over the truths published by Minister Farrakhan in The Secret Relationship, many who condemn Ye as an anti-Semite may be surprised to learn the essence of his critique of Jewish misconduct within the black community has strong academic support. That's key. That's very key. I want you to hear what I'm saying, family. Ye and what he talked about in his comments when he was on Drink Champs, when he was on Tucker Carlson, when he was on Piers Morgan, when he was on these platforms, and he talked about the relationship between blacks and Jews. Kanye's comments have strong academic support. Now, Kanye is not from academia. Kanye is not a scholar. Kanye is not a historian. He's a leader in pop culture, as Brother Minister Dimitri stated. But the comments that Kanye made have strong academic support. All right? So, and this is just dealing with, obviously, his comments about the so-called Jews. So, let me finish this up. Ye's wide-ranging statements and thinking out loud dramatic appearances in several recent interviews record him suffering a curious admixture of ideas and thoughts to the court of public opinion. And even though he has been proven wrong in the opining that martyr of the black struggle, George Floyd, died of a fentanyl overdose, many of his other observations have powerful substantive support. Y'all heard that, right? So outside of the George Floyd stuff, because we know Kanye was wrong about that. But when it comes to everything else Kanye was talking about, it has strong, powerful, substantive support. It should also be noted that in 2020, People magazine reported Ye's donating $2 million to the families of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor. People magazine specified that Ye created a 529 college savings plan, college savings plan for George Floyd's daughter, Gianna. So, wrapping all of that up is to say that Kanye has been labeled anti-Semitic, even though the statements that he made has strong, supportive, substantive backup. All right? Now, they done went after Ye. But here comes Brother Kyrie. All right? Brother Kyrie, a couple of days ago, has a post. Brother Kyrie, a couple of days ago, has a post. Right? He tweets out a link to a movie off Amazon called Negroes the Hebrews or Hebrews the Negroes. One of the two. And that movie, which is based on a book, is said to be full of anti-Semitism. This is what they said. So they jump on our brother Kyrie as being labeled again having anti-Semitic views. Yet they don't go after Jeff Bezos or Amazon, the platform that's actually putting the movie out to millions of people. They don't go after Jeff Bezos or Amazon, the platform that's putting the movie out for millions of people to view. They don't go after them. But the ADL and other leadership within the Jewish community puts a bullseye on our brother Kyrie. So now the tweet come out from Joe Tsai, the Nets owner, who condemns Kyrie in the public for his tweet about the movie. All right? Joe Tsai, the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, comes out and condemns Kyrie publicly. Then Let me pull this up. Because then we got to get to this. Because I got to talk to my brother Shaq. Man, because Shaq, man, is a good brother. And, man, I think he just was emotional. I think Shaq was just a little emotional when he made these statements. I brought our brother Kyrie, but these was not good statements to make, brother Shaq. You know that. Now, Charles Barkley is a totally different story. And the reason why I say that is because we can come to expect come to expect Charles Barkley to make the statements that he makes. Okay? We can expect Charles Barkley to make the statements that he makes. We not expecting Shaq to follow up Charles Barkley and his foolishness. All right? So, now they on Kyrie. So, before we get into Kyrie, Shaq, and Charles, and even Uncle Shay Shay, because, man, even Unc, man. Now, I didn't really hear. I heard a little bit of what Unc had to say. I'm talking about Shannon Sharp. What he had to say about Kyrie. And I listened to it. I wasn't offended. By what he said. But what I don't like, and I'm going to say this, and then we're going to listen to the minister for a second. I'm going to let the minister educate us real quick. But what I don't like from any of these brothers who are on these major sports platforms, Shaq, Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith, Uncle Shay Shay, a.k.a. Shannon Sharp, I don't like when y'all get on these platforms and you call brothers out or call Kyrie out. Let's talk straight words. You call Kyrie out and you say disparaging things about the brother instead of doing that behind closed doors. I don't like that. I, as a black man, take offense to that. Now, I don't know if y'all been able to have any backroom discussions, but we got to change this coming out in public on the devil's platforms and going after our people. We got to change that narrative tonight. Because we can't continue to stand for that. But I'm going to let the minister talk to us for a minute. Let me make sure I got this. Okay, yeah, I got it set up. Come on, brother minister. Educate us on what's going on in the background.
Of course you do. I'm not trying to be funny. But you know that whale that was in San Diego somewhere that caught that young lady by her ponytail and crushed her, killed her? That wouldn't have been you, would it? They caught you by that ponytail. They'd have just yanked that bad boy off. You just a little levity, just a little laugh, But let's get back to serious business. I'm going to close. Look, my dear beloved, all of our entertainers, see, we have the talent. They have the expertise. They attach themselves to our talent. They are the managers, the agents, and they are the accountants. And that's why our black artists loved fame and got fame, but died poor because somebody else got their money, sent their children to the finest schools, and are able to continue to rule while you pass on nothing to your children but the legacy of your fame and nothing else. But today they've developed a new strategy. Let's make our Negroes rich. A new strategy. The old strategy was let them die broke. Or they take you, you know, when you first start singing, you're in what they call the chitlin circuit. Y'all know about that? And then as you get famous in the chitlin circuit, they finally put you in a supper club and you cross over and you get new management, you know, and then they take you to after parties and you meet a beautiful white girl. Did I say something wrong? And the next thing you know, you've ditched your black wife and have you a white one. And when you die, like poor Gary Coleman, here's a woman pulled the plug the first day. Don't stay, you might come back out. This nigga's worth more to me dead. Pull the plug. Poor Tiger. You know, he ain't black, you know, he's a Cablinasian. Whatever the hell that is. The greatest ball player that ever did it, golfer. And the girl that he married was a nanny, I understand. A nanny. And his man making billions. And he married a nanny. Now the poor fella, now she rich for the rest of her life with her beautiful mulatto children, and now he's struggling to hit the ball right. You're crossing over now. Bless your heart. But the money goes back to them. Now, they have my brother, Russell Simmons. He wrote a beautiful piece on black-Jewish relations. And I'm here to tell you, no black man or woman becomes a multi-millionaire without friendship in the Jewish community. I'll prove it in a minute. Did you know, I'll get back to, oh Lord, there's so much to give you, but I can't do it all. Did you know
I'm doing good, Brother Kenny. How you doing?
that nearly all prominent Negro actors and musicians have or had Jewish sponsors and managers? Florence Mills, Ethel Waters, Paul Robeson, Duke Ellington, Cab Calloway, Adelaide Hall, Valeda Snow, Bojangles, Hattie McDaniel, Stephen Fetchit, Rochester, Chilton and Thomas, and the Mills Brothers, the Ink Spots, just keep naming them. See, so they have a way of attaching themselves to your gifts, but you get nothing. They get it all. Now they've decided, you know, we have to change this. New strategy. Our brother Russell Simmons is a multi-millionaire. He's a good brother. And he has great friendship with the Jewish people. Miss Oprah, a beautiful woman with a beautiful heart, a multi-billionaire. But there's a Jewish man that helped guide her career and make her who she is. P. Diddy, Jay-Z, just name them. Even in hip-hop, Jews manage most of the black hip-hop artists. And man, I got something, I can't do it now, but they end up with nothing. They come with the bling bling and a nice car, and they show you that they're successful. But if you could see the breakdown of the record deals, they end up with nothing. As I said in my lecture, The Crucifixion of Michael Jackson, he was asset rich and cash poor. So if you're going to sell your assets, then you can get liquid. If you don't want to sell your assets, then you borrow against your assets. So the Jewish person with money was always there to loan Michael money because Michael was smart enough to buy the catalog of Elvis Presley and the Beatles. It's worth $1 billion. So he had it. They were trying to get it from him. He had Neverland. They were trying to get it from him. So he loved nice things, so he spent money because he had it. But then when he needed to save his property, he had to borrow. Now, what is the strategy? See? I have a list of all the NBA owners. See, it's like a plantation.
Oh, the minister getting ready to get into the list of all the NBA owners. And I'm playing this right after they done suspended brother Kyrie. After they done suspended Kyrie, and check this out. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up. I'm reading this on my phone. They say, family, make sure that you smash that like button, that Nets have released a statement on Kyrie Irving. We are of the view that he is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. We have decided that Kyrie will serve a suspension without pay until he satisfies a series of objective remedial measures. So they are suspending Kyrie without pay indefinitely until he meets their demands, basically is what they're saying. So it says this. Brooklyn, November 3rd, 2022. Over the last several days, we have made repeated attempts to work with Kyrie Irving to help him understand the harm and danger of his words and actions, which began with him publicizing a film containing a deeply disturbing anti-Semitic hate. We believe that taking the path of education in this challenging situation would be the right one, and thought that we had made progress with our joint commitment to eradicating hate and intolerance. We were dismayed today when given an opportunity in a media session that Kyrie refused to unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs, nor acknowledge specific hateful material in the film. This was not the first time he had the opportunity but failed to clarify. See, so they talking to him like he a child. They talking about brother Kyrie like he's a child. All right? Now, the minister about to go down the list of them NBA owners and show y'all who runs sports. See? Thought Ye was playing. Now, this is real time. This is real time right here.
That's a piece of meat. Throwing balls in hoops. They got dogs. They can do that. And they go in the hoop. Now you the best at doing it. So you on a plantation. But you rich. a rich slave. You sharecropping again. LeBron James sharecropper. Now, I'm not downing my brother, but he's being used. And as long as he can play like he plays, they want him in Cleveland, they want him in New York, they want him in Chicago, they want him in Miami. So he's good meat, you know. Boy, in this book here, you should see the way they sold us. We have a nigger, 22 years old, strong, skilled in carpentry. We have a nigger wench. How did she get to be sold? She owed her rent and couldn't pay it, so they put her on the block and sold her. It's all here. Look at you today. You can't see how you tore up. You want a home, don't you? Everybody wants a home. So they made it possible for you to get one. No money down. No, all you do is pay interest. How in the hell could you accept a deal like that? In 3 years, the interest now goes up. You didn't see that in the fine print. Now you're in foreclosure. It's a trick. Who's behind it? Wall Street. Who are they? Well, they didn't just do it to you. They did it to America. I know this is rough. Did you know that in 1913, when the Federal Reserve Act was made, America was $2 billion in debt? Less than 100 years later, she's $13 trillion in debt. How did all that happen? Now the country is like the sharecroppers working to pay off debt. China got America, Japan got America, other people just loaning America money, and here comes Brother Obama. Now look, do you love your brother? I do too. Do you know that he was nurtured for this position? Dr. Larry Muhammad, who is the director of the Universities of Islam, before he came to run the schools of the nation, he was in charter school business. And there was a Jewish philanthropist who told him nearly 5 years ago that by 1988, Barack Obama would be president of the United States. And do you know, when our brother was elected, 2008, I'm sorry, Jewish people wrote, as Bill Clinton was the first black president, Barack Obama would be the first Jewish president. Now that's a terrible thing to say, but they were telling you, we own the brother. His early money came from Goldman Sachs. He was nurtured by Jews who saw in him his brilliance. He's a beautiful human being. And they knew that as brilliant as he was, they could use him to trick black people away from the promise of God.
Go ahead, Minister.
He's not a willing participant in madness. But Satan understood the time. And he knew that this was the right man for the time.
Go ahead, Minister. Go ahead.
They selected him, and what could we do? We had to vote for our brother because he was the best thing we ever saw. He's president now, and he's upsetting them. Because all the Jewish presidents met him in the Oval Office and told him to go easy on Israel and settlements in the West Bank. And because he was strong, out of Israel, they started calling him what they've been calling me. An anti-Semite. Y'all with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We with you, brother minister. We with you. So the minister is highlighting for us what they did to brother Barack Obama. When brother Barack Obama came into office as the president, understanding that his early money came from Goldman Sachs and all of that, we understand that he was backed by those who are in power. Right? Well, brother Cam, what does that have to do with brother Kyrie? Well, the minister mentioned the fact that he later would get into the NBA and the NFL. But look at this. Now they have labeled brother Kyrie anti-Semitic, and they have suspended the brother for 5 games after point guard doesn't apologize for posting anti-Semitic video. So what did the minister just finish saying about Barack Obama? When the Jewish presidents met him in the Oval Office and told him to go easy on Israel, when President Barack Obama pushed back and stood strong, they started to call him what? Anti-Semitic. The same thing that they've been calling the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. What did they do when brother Nick Cannon had interviewed Professor Griff on his podcast? And Professor Griff was dealing with them teachings, talking about who was really in power and talking about the creation of the Caucasian, right? And they came at brother Nick Cannon and they told him how he was anti-Semitic and he needed to apologize. And brother Nick Cannon said, wait a minute. He was going to stand back now. He was going to stand up. He tried to stand strong. And then they pushed on Nick. Made Nick apologize. Said Deshaun Jackson. What do you say? We the real Jews or we the real Hebrews? That's anti-Semitic language and comments. Deshaun Jackson. They made him apologize. 21 Savage. We getting this Jewish money? Anti-Semitic comments. They made 21 Savage apologize. LeBron James. They made him apologize. They always making black men apologize. Damon John. This man didn't even say nothing about Jewish people. He literally just said nice things about the minister. He's anti-Semitic. He has anti-Semitic views. Damon John apologizing. Do y'all see the pattern of what's going on here, family? Here we go again. After Kanye West, we right back at it again with Kyrie Irving. So they say that the Brooklyn Nets has suspended Kyrie Irving 5 games without pay. The team announced Thursday after a turbulent week in which the All-Star posted a link to an anti-Semitic video on Twitter and declined to apologize after reportedly spending the last several days trying to help Irving understand the film contained deeply disturbing anti-Semitic hate. See, what they trying to do is they trying to force. See, they put in a language talking about after the 10 days of trying to make Irving understand or show him. So now they trying to educate Kyrie as if Kyrie didn't go to Duke, as if Kyrie is not smart enough to be able to understand and decipher what anti-Semitic is, what Semitic is. They got to spend several days trying to educate him. So they got to spend several days trying to educate Kyrie, right? So that's what they said they was doing. They was spending several days trying to educate Kyrie. And they said that the Nets said that they were dismayed Irving had failed to say he holds no anti-Semitic beliefs when asked on Thursday, and such a failure made him unfit to be associated with the organization. So they was taking Kyrie in the back room essentially, and they trying to whip him into shape and say, listen, all right, what we gonna do is we're gonna give you the opportunity to go out and apologize. We're gonna educate you on what anti-Semitism is. Then you go out and apologize, say you was wrong, say that you don't condone any of this stuff, and then we're going to allow you to continue to play basketball. As if he's a child. As if Kyrie Irving isn't a grown man and is very conscious and cognizant of the things that he's saying. The same thing with Brother Ye. As if he's not conscious or cognizant of the things that he's saying and haven't done enough research to understand the difference between those who say they are Jews and those who are not. And to know who the original people are, right? To know who the original Jews are. But guess what? They treating Kyrie as if he is a child. As if he isn't smart enough to know these type of things. And they letting them know, like the minister said, sharecropper. All the millions of dollars Kyrie got, but you got to basically capitulate to what they asking you to do in order to play basketball. Kyrie didn't commit a crime. Kyrie didn't go out here and as a drunk driver and hit nobody. Kyrie didn't break the law. Kyrie didn't violate any policies that we know of, or that the NBA could point to, other than the fact that they feel that the movie has some type of anti-Semitism in it. And Kyrie highlighted the fact that he disagreed with and did not stand behind some of the false things that the movie put out. Now, I didn't watch the movie. All right, I didn't watch the movie. But based on some of the things that I saw, the preview and stuff that I read, some of the stuff, was kind of out there. Some of the stuff was not true. So Kyrie highlighted the fact that some of that stuff is not true, and we don't stand by that stuff that's not true. But his point is he cannot be anti-Semitic because he is the original Jew. He's part of that. We're part of that. That's just a fact. That's not hate, family. That's just actual facts. And because Kyrie is standing on that actual fact, now they want to suspend the brother indefinitely because he won't stand on truth. Well, guess what? We're going to stand with Kyrie as he's standing on truth. Is that right? We're going to stand with Kyrie as he's standing on truth because we know, based on the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, as the minister stated in that lecture called Who Are the Real Children of Israel? Part 1. And he does 3-part series on this, letting us know that we are those original Jews. We are those original Hebrews. So yes, we cannot be anti-Semitic because we will be anti-self. And we're not anti-self. We're just highlighting and exposing the fact that those who masquerade as Jews are not really Jews and they have no connection to the promised land. That's just a fact. You have no connection. And we got the proof. So Michael Rappoprt, I heard your little slick comments that you put on your podcast. And, you guys have done very well. And nobody has any issues. Honestly, nobody has any issues with the Jewish people. Those who are students of the Torah, those who strive in righteousness, those who look to do the right thing. It's no problems. We love the Jewish people. We can learn a lot from the Jewish people. So when Michael Rappoport said we should learn from what they've done, absolutely. That's a fact. That's a fact. But what we are talking about, Michael Rappoport, is the fact that every time somebody highlights the truth of your reality, of the position that Jewish people have within media, within politics, within government, within entertainment, within music, all of a sudden that person becomes anti-Semitic. And not only are they labeled with the tag of anti-Semitic, but then they start to be attacked financially. Not only was Kanye or Ye hit with the tag, now you're going to snatch his money from him. You're going to wage economic warfare against the brother too. And you do that to everybody who you try to label that tag with. The only person you couldn't do that to is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because he didn't have nothing that you could take away. See? That's the beautiful thing. That's the beautiful thing about being a free and independent man. It ain't nothing you could take away. You didn't give me nothing. See, you didn't make me, so it's nothing that you could do to break me. All praise is due to Allah. But, brother, Michael Rappoport, we got the history right here. We got the scholarship right here. Over 2,000 footnotes right here of how the Jews gained control of the Black American economy. It's all here. How they participated in the slave trade. How they were some of the biggest slave owners. Right? How they assimilated themselves into Southern Confederacy. How they continue to move under the umbrella of white supremacy in the post-slavery era. Right? How they ascended to positions of power as governors and as mayors and as council people. It's all here. How they wrote articles about how they defended slavery, how they were able to economically grow off of the backs of Black people in America, off of the backs of the sweat and blood and tears of my ancestors. It's all here, brother. It's all here, Mr. Rappoport. So we're not speaking without the documentation to back it up. So while we can learn a lot, and we want to learn, the minister said that you all should be willing to help us to become like you in a good way. But if you're going to continue to deny the fact that these things took place, and every time a Black man stands on truth, he's demonized in the public, he's brought out in the public square and made mockery of, brought out into the public square and put on display and emasculized, we're not doing that today. We're not buck breaking no more. We're not getting buck broken no more. No more public square buck breaking. Michael Rappoport, we have the receipts. We have volume 1. We have how Jews sold blacks in the auction, right? We got all of that. So we are asking, demanding that the scholars and the historians and the theologians of this world come on out and deal with this. We asking, demanding, come on out and deal with the truth of what's in this scholarly writing. And if you can defend this, you have a point. But if you can't defend this, ain't no use in even talking. But let's have a real discussion. No more of that. No, we're not going to talk. We just going to call people anti-Semitic. We're going to label them and list them on the Southern Poverty Law Center website or the ADL, all of that kind of stuff. The Wiesenthal Center. We're not going to do none of that behind closed doors, behind the back stuff. No, come on out in the public and let's deal with this information right here. And see if the minister been making it up. See if Ye is making it up and off his meds. See if Kyrie is just uncontrollable and thinks he's smarter than everybody else. because that's another thing that I got to get on you brothers about, and you thought I forgot. But let me pull this up. Because I got to talk to Brother Shaq about this. Now, this don't make no sense, Shaq. Now, they suspended Kyrie. I'm closing after this, family, because we've been going for a minute. But I got to show you this, because Shaq know better than this. Now, he was asked his opinion on Kyrie Irving. And this is what Shaq had to say. I apologize for the slow computer, family. Boy, I really have nothing to say.
Being said, or everything that's being done, or I'm campaigning for anything. All I do is post things for my people in my community and those that it's actually going to impact. Anybody else that has criticism, it obviously wasn't meant for them. I am no different than the next human being, so don't treat me any different. You guys come in here and make up this powerful influence I have over top of the adultery of, oh, you cannot post that. Why not?
Why did you decide to promote something that Alex Jones said?
That was a few weeks ago. I do not stand with Alex Jones' position, narrative, court case that he had with Sandy Hook, or any of the kids that felt like they had to relive trauma, or parents that had to relive trauma, or to be dismissive to all the lives that were lost during that tragic event. My post was a post from Alex Jones that he did in the early 90s or late 90s about secret societies in America of occults, and it's true. So I wasn't identifying with anything of being a campaignist for Alex Jones or anything. I was just there to post, and it's funny, and it's actually hilarious because out of all the things I posted that day, that was the one post that everyone chose to see. It just goes back to the way our world is and works. I'm not here to complain about it. I just exist.
And to follow up on the promotion of the movie and the book.
Can you please stop calling it a promotion? What am I promoting?
Put it out on your platform.
But I'm promoting it? Do you see me in front of
By putting it out there, people are going to say that you are promoting.
Yeah, I put it out there just like you put things out there, right?
Yeah, but
okay.
It's not
you put
stuff,
things out there for a living, right?
Right, but my stuff
Great.
is not
So let's move on.
filled
let's
with
move on.
anti-Semitic
Let's
stuff.
move on. Don't dehumanize me up here.
I'm not doing
I'm
that.
another
You're
human
free
being.
to post
I can post whatever I want, so say that and shut it down and move on to the next question.
But Kyrie, you have to understand that by
I don't have to understand anything from you.
It's
Nothing.
not me.
Nothing.
By
It's no
posting
people
what
that you're
you
making
did,
up, bro. Move on.
But by posting
Move
what
on.
you
Next
did,
question.
Anybody
Do
is
you guys
going
have
to
any
look
more
at
questions
it,
for
and they're
me?
going to say,
You guys have any more
does he have
questions? Because this is going to be a clip.
beliefs?
This is going to be a clip that he's going to marvel at. Is this any more questions?
But you're not answering the question.
Oh, this is another answering your question. Oh my God, let's make another Instagram clip so we could be famous again. Next question.
That exchange with Nick Friedel the other night after the game, and look, if he keeps making a big thing out of the word promotion, that is promotion. If on your social media you say, boom, here's a link to this, that tells me, hey, you should watch this. Correct? He's got 17 million Instagram followers, another 5 million or so on Twitter. You're all over social media. Do you ever put something out there, Shaq, that does not represent something that you feel?
I was probably one of the first guys on Twitter. And when I realized the power it had, I knew I had to be very responsible. Followers, platform, whatever you call it, I knew I had to be responsible. I try to make people happy. I try to make people smile. My formula has always been the same. 60% to make you laugh, 30% to inspire you, and 10% whatever I'm selling. You have to be aware of what you're doing. And you have to be aware that sometimes when you put stuff out, not everybody's gonna like it. Some people are conscious, some people are not. I can tell he's not conscious, he doesn't really care what's going on. But us, I know that the game that we used to love and we promote, it brings people together. And it hurts me sometimes when we have to sit up here to talk about stuff that divides the game. Now we got to answer for what this idiot has done. I stand for equality of all people. I've always been like that. Don't matter what religion, don't matter where you're from. I could say shalom, salam alaikum, ni hao, say bon, because that's how I was raised. So I don't really want to sit up here and answer questions for what he's done. You know, if you're looking at me, it's my job to make people happy. I can't speak for him and, you know, answer for you know, what he's doing. It's obviously by his answers and the way he answers, he doesn't really care.
Chuck.
Now, that's where we got an issue. That's why I got an issue with Brother Shaq at. Because what Brother Shaq should have did, what the responsible big brother thing to do is, brother, is if you got a problem with something that Kyrie said, then you pull him aside. But you don't go on the devil's platform, Brother Shaq. And then you openly condemn the brother. Calling him out his name is very disrespectful. To call that man out of his name on that national televised platform of yours where millions of people are watching, as if Kyrie Irving doesn't have a brain. And as if Kyrie Irving isn't able to articulate himself in a manner that you and him will be able to understand one another. It didn't have to be in public, but if you had an issue with what Brother Kyrie said, then you take him and you call him up. You probably got his number. And that's probably going to be another thing. Kyrie going to say, well, bro, you have my number. You could easily get in contact with me, Shaq. Why would you call me an idiot on national TV? We're not even going to play what Charles Barkley said because we know where he stands. But Shaq, I know people that know you personally, brother. And you a good brother. So this is why I'm saying that was not the appropriate thing to do. If you had an issue with what Kyrie said, you could have articulated it a different way and say, hey, I don't agree with Kyrie said. And it was inappropriate for Kyrie to be promoting this on Twitter. You have to be responsible with your social media platforms. I know from my firsthand experience, you need to be responsible with your Twitter platforms, your followers, all of those different things. But I'm going to actually call Kyrie. We're going to have a discussion about what he said, what's going on. I'm going to talk to him, and then we're going to go from there. And then you pass that on to the next person. But you don't go on the enemy's platform, Shaq, and publicly condemn your brother, calling him an idiot. Not as if the NBA owners don't already think he's an idiot. Think you an idiot. They just say it in back doors, behind closed doors when ain't nobody watching. Right? They only caught Donald Sterling because somebody recorded him. Well, what about the rest of them NBA owners? And the things that they say when ain't nobody around. Huh? And then you gonna come out on national television and call that man an idiot. A brother that went to Duke University. Brother that's highly intelligent, highly skilled, high basketball IQ. You can call that brother an idiot on a national platform and think that's okay. Absolutely not, Shaq. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. And we have to stop doing that, family. Black men. See, the lessons teach us that once the devil was made, he came back into the Holy Land and was put out within 6 months because he was making trouble. Well, what kind of trouble was he making, Brother King Cam? The trouble that he was making mischief and causing the shedding of blood because he was what? Telling lies amongst the righteous. He was amongst the righteous telling lies. And he caused the righteous to shoot and kill one another. Well, what are we doing, family? We letting the devil come in and drop this anti-Semitic bomb among us and then causing the righteous to go after one another. Shaq going after Kyrie, Charles going after Kyrie, Jamel Hill writing articles going after Kyrie, everybody going after Ye. All of these black entertainers and black people in leadership going after Ye. And who's in the middle of all of that? The enemy. What is he doing? Making mischief and telling lies. And if we don't have this understanding, then the enemy don't have to come in among us and have to worry about dismantling our organizations, throwing a monkey wrench into our plans, stopping any progressive movements that we have that will help the black man and woman in America achieve freedom, justice, and equality. No, we're going to do that. They got a bunch of paid Negroes that they know will go and stir up trouble amongst the righteous who are trying to do something to free the people. They already have a payroll with a list of names that they can just call up to go handle that for them. So we can no longer knowing this, we can no longer allow it to happen. We can no longer allow it to be done in the public sphere and we not say nothing about it. Now we got to call it out. So Brother Shaq, you got to apologize to Brother Kyrie for calling that man an idiot. You have to go and apologize to that man for calling that man an idiot on national television. Kyrie didn't call you out your name, brother. He didn't call Charles Barkley out of his name. So don't disrespect that man just because you have a disagreement. We all don't agree. We all not going to agree. Everybody don't agree on the same thing. That's fine. But you don't make it personal. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that you never go after somebody personally. You attack their ideas. You attack their theology, their philosophy, their ideology, right? But you never go after them personally. Can't go after Kyrie personally, man. Come on, family. So, I think we covered it. Family. For what we was going to touch tonight. And man, I pray this was helpful and impactful. And man, the brothers is heading up to Chicago. So that's going to be a beautiful thing. And man, may Allah continue to bless you with the light of understanding as I leave you in ingredient words of peace, family. Hey, and look, if you want to be join the podcast text thread so that you can get exclusive clips, you can get exclusive information on where I'm going to be, different events that I'm doing. Then at the bottom, you'll see where it's scrolling across the bottom. You text the word podcast to 404-737-1030, and then you'll be able to be a part of the text thread and join the community, all right? It's the text the word podcast to 404-737-1030. You'll be able to tap in that way, family. But I leave you in ingredient words of peace, as we said in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
You know. Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. And then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still wanna think our history started when we was slaves.